So did you know that there are over 20,000 species of bees in the entire world? But how do you attract them to your garden? Today I'm going to share with you 3 tips that will naturally attract dozens of bees into your garden. But first, why are bees even important to our garden or to any of you watching this video? Well, if you don't know, most of the bees that are responsible for pollinating our food are the honeybees. Because wild bees and the other pollinators are dying off from the use of pesticides and chemicals that farmers are using. The honeybees lives in colonies that has anywhere from 20 all the way up to 80,000 worker bees. Worker bees gather food that are rich in pollen and nectar to raise more bees. And sometimes you'll even see them in your garden. But how do we boost their traffic? That's what the 3 tips are for. So my first tip is to avoid the use of insecticides on your plants because they are designed to kill off the bad insects, but at the same time they're also killing off some of your beneficial insects. I watched a documentary where a guy said that he had around 2,500 hives and he watched the bees as the fumes from the farmers that were spraying nearby just flew over to his bees. He said that the bees were twitching on their backs and by the end of the week 50% of his colonies had died. Neonicotinoid is one of those pesticides that farmers are using lately that are contributing to the loss of bees. Neonicotinoid attacks the nervous systems of bees. But even if the colony had not died right away, they would have ended up dying because when the farmers spray the chemicals, they go into the soil and then as the plants grow, they are taking up all of that chemical and it becomes part of their leaves, their pollen, and everything has that chemical in it, which will prevent pests from eating it. But when bees comes to pollinate, they get killed by it. Now, even some of the natural insecticides like pyrethrin or Nemo can be harmful to bees, but here's a tip if you must use them. You can use the natural insecticide after the sun has gone down because bees move back to their colonies at nighttime, and so you wouldn't be able to hurt them. And with natural sprays, the liquid will evaporate off during the night before the next day. Natural sprays won't poison the entire plant like synthetic insecticides and fungicides do. So tip number 1 is to never ever use synthetic sprays. And the second tip is to plant flowers in your garden. When planting flowers for bees, there's 2 important musts. So you plant the right flowers that will attract the bees to your garden. The first must do is to plant flowers that has the colors blue, purple, pink, yellow, or white because they are more attracted to flowers with these colors. A fun fact is that bees can't actually see the color red. To them, it's just like nothing, it's dark. So you wouldn't want to plant red flowers for attracting bees. Borage is one of the bees' most favorite flowers that it even gets the nickname bee bread. And I suspect that it's get that name is because each plant could produce 950 flowers. And the nectar that the flowers produce can refill every 2 to 5 minutes after being empty, which makes planting borage a super magnet for attracting bees. I'm planting some of these flowers this year. Borage, a dwarf nasturtium, and then there's the Mongolian giant sunflower. It's going to be an amazing sunflower that will grow up to 14 feet tall with a giant head. So looking forward to that. Planting herbs like basil, cilantro, and chives produces lots of flowers and is a sure way to attract bees to your garden. And the second must-do is to plant flowers that bloom at different times of the year. It gives the bees a reason every time of the year to come to your garden. For instance, you could plant some trees or berry bushes that bloom in the early spring when nectar is scarce, and then in summer you'll have your vegetables and your flowers, which the bees could collect pollen. The third tip that you could use for attracting bees to your garden is to let some of your annual vegetables go to bolt, which is just a fancy word for saying letting them flower. Allowing some of the vegetables that you grow to flower will bring bees to your garden, and you'll also be able to save some of your own seeds at the end of the season. Another tip that will help attract bees to your yard and garden is to set aside a section of your lawn that you don't mow. By setting aside a section of your lawn that you don't mow, weeds will come through like dandelions, and weeds is one of the best way that you can use because they are naturally rich in pollen and nectar. A bonus tip is to set up a bird bath or a bowl of water because bees, just like humans, also need water. Bees will drink water, but they use it to cool their hives in the summer. And a second bonus tip is to buzz that subscribe button so we can get to 100,000 subscribers by the end of this year. Okay guys, a third bonus tip is to attract earthworms to your garden to naturally improve your soil for free. If you want, that video is right here. Goodbye!